Hey everybody, Great Tate here, starting the show this week. Blog Talk Radio Live, the Great Tate Show. And as you know, today's topic is manhood.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
About to run this one-man show real quick.
2, 1.
So I hope y'all can hear.
Blog Talk Radio. The Great Tate Show. Everything you were never taught about love, life, sex, relationships, politics, race, the government, and more. The Great Tate's real life, real talk, and unapologetic style of delivery will make you beg for more. He is the truth and the life. And now, the Great Tate Show on Real Life, Real Faith Network at blogtalkradio.com.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? It's the Great Tate Show, Blog Talk Radio Live. And we are broadcasting today, and our discussion is manhood. I like to make sure we don't have any mic difficulties today. So if somebody could give me a holler that you can hear me on Blog Talk Radio Live, we could proceed as we should. And today's topic is dear to me. The reason it's dear to me is because, thank you. Who's that?
Well, you can
All right, Lisa Gabrielle.
Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, tell everybody, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man.
Yes, I am, yes, I am.
That's right.
I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. I believe every lie that I ever told. Gave every heart that I ever stole. I played my cards and I didn't fold. Well, it ain't that hard when you got sold.
So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. As we usually start, let us come to terms with life. Our life is in a human struggle. The struggle is painful and deep. The struggle holds death and life. Out of the struggle of the now, we'll create the human world of the future. The past is approved, the present is received, and the future is open. So what I want y'all to know today is that I chose this topic because it is very dear to me. As a man in America, it appears that it is okay with us as a gender to be disappointed with each other without being held accountable, without any qualms, or without any sense of hope that things will become better or change. So, as a man, what other men fail to realize is that what they do or fail to do reflects on the rest of us. So as a man, what I encounter is that manhood is under attack. You have been feminized. You have been desensitized. You have been marginalized. You have been criminalized if you are a black man. And you are not held accountable. There's no sense of accountability in what you failed to do and you were supposed to do as a man. So one of the major problems, and allow me to break it down during this hour, is males do not know what it means to be a man in 2016. Males are under the impression that adulthood enters them into masculinity and becoming a man. Males are under the impression that they can masquerade themselves like men. And it is okay, because when things get too thick, they could cop out, call out, drop out, or call the police officers to help them. As men, you are taught what not to do because it is an innate feeling that rubs you the wrong way. Sort of like not listening to the rules of your parents. Of course you can disobey it. And you can disobey it so much that it becomes natural. It no longer bothers you when you do something, i.e. drug use. For instance, your parents tell you not to get high, but you try it anyway. And every time you try it, there's a level of a guilt. But as time goes on, you deceive yourself so much that you believe that what you are doing is okay and there's no guilt needed. So what you do is convince yourself that your parents are wrong, not that you are wrong. So what I find in manhood is that we silently look and feel uncomfortable because we know when we are going against our own nature or the laws of nature, yet we'll still partake in certain activities or allow certain activities to go by without any kind of recompense. For instance, we watch males walk down the street with pants hanging off their ass so their entire ass is showing, right? Where we see all of their drawers showing. Yet, we don't interact. Well, y'all don't interact. I try to rectify it all the time because I don't fear any type of conflict. Because I know that growth cannot take place without conflict. And I know that true change come through struggle and strife and reflection. And when you holding your black eye and you looking and you rubbing cocoa butter on your eye in the mirror, you do a lot of reflecting until your eye becomes better. So am I advocating violence? No, but I do advocate discipline. I do advocate that there must be some checks and bounds involved in black and white and Asian and all forms of masculinity. Because when there are no checks and bounds, you allow a police officer to be able to shoot down an unarmed black man. Black people don't have to run around and tell that white man that he was wrong for killing that black kid. White people, white men who do not fear checking other white men won't have a problem checking that white man to tell him you are wrong. You was out of line. And you got to suffer the consequences. Because as a man, you don't conduct yourself this way. So throughout this broadcast, you may hear me refer to black men because black men, I am held accountable for what you failed to do and your buffoonery. So when you walk down the street and you sag, because sagging is just niggas turned backwards. If you do the spelling, you see. There's only one group of people that run around and sagging. However, with the proliferation of hip hop culture and media and social media, the classes, the poor tend to do what the poor do. So you will find poor whites doing what poor blacks are doing. The language, the music, the actions. But that is not my concern, because the difference between a poor black kid and a poor white kid is once that white kid comes to his senses and clean up and decide to enter corporate America, he can take full advantage and no doors will be closed. That black kid, we always got to work twice as hard. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating facts. That's what I do. On the Great Zach Tate Show, we will state facts. If you wish to call in, I ask you to call 929-477-3213. Or log on to Blog Talk Radio Live, or go down to the Periscope app, download it. And those who are on Periscope, I ask you to swipe left, swipe right, invite all followers and friends so we can get down to the nitty gritty. So this show is dedicated to everybody, but specifically to those who are trying to raise boys on their own. You could call live now, 929-477-3213. So those of you who are raising boys and you totally confused, you don't have an idea or clue of how to raise a man, because you would never make a man. You can indoctrinate him with masculine values, but you cannot make him a man. You do not know what he is going through to be able to identify. All you are merely doing is making suggestions based on what you have seen, perceived, or someone has explained to you in the past. And that someone who has explained to you may have been wrong in totality. Also, based on males being under attack, we can no longer take the conventional, traditional a route of raising boys, because we are in a society now where boys are feminized or told to do whatever it is that you want to do, and it is okay. It doesn't matter if you die, become incarcerated, become sick, or ostracize your women and leave them unfertile and angry. So when we're dealing with males and raising a male or a boy, raising a boy to become a man, we have to understand that there is a system that is designed. You could ask Michael Jordan about this. There's a system that's designed that if poor boys do not pay attention, they will become incarcerated, they will become hospitalized, or some form of institution or dependent. That works very well for people who profit off of oppression. So what happens is that when boys do not have the leadership of their men. So let me give you some history. And if you need some more data, you could go to YouTube, type in Great Zach Tate, and watch the short clip on the destruction of black boys. So what happens is that historically, there were world wars, right? We lived in a system where there was an amount of technology. And what happens is that you, as men, are forced to understand that if you live on the land, you have to hunt, build a home, provide that space for your family. You understand that you have a nature, and that nature must be fulfilled through your woman. So when you go and you build a shelter that you can copulate with your woman in peace, you have, or you create a family. So historically, what happened was that males went off to war to fight for the rich, the interests of the rich, and for the politicians that are controlled by the rich. And those males died in massive numbers. And the community gelled together to take care of the widowers, the elderly, and the kids who are left behind. So now, as time moved by, in the poor communities, you started eliminating the father's presence. So let's use the Vietnam War, and let's use poor ghetto communities. In poor ghetto communities after the Vietnam War, you had people coming back addicted to heroin. You had Nixon in office who was just proliferating the use of drugs in America and profiting off of it. Nixon is the one that set the blueprint of how Ronald Reagan and Bush could make so much money off of cocaine. Nixon made a killing off of heroin. So when I say a killing, I'm talking millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that him and his cohorts made. They hide this from you, but if you read about COINTELPRO, you read about the destruction of black civilization, you read about what's going on in the modern era back in the 60s, you can get this information. There's even freedom of information. So what happens is that when you have politics and establishment desensitizing and destroying minds with drugs, when you show that crime is being handled by the murder of youth and men. That's why the Black Panther Party got involved. They got involved because they were being murdered and gunned down and abused so much that they decided to come together and police their own community with unloaded weapons, because that's what the law allows you to do in California at the time. So what happens is when these fathers are being lost by institutions, these fathers are being lost by violence, crime, by war, these lives are being lost by individuals just being marginalized. What happens is that there's no father to teach the son. So what is a father? A father is he who fats her. He who fats her makes the father. Fatting her is the process of making a child, and making a child is the individual who governs his household, and to be the supreme example of what a man is supposed to be. That is a father. So all you guys that come home from work and you paying a couple bills and you Xboxing and you allowing your children to raise themselves, just because you in a household don't make you no father. Fatherhood is interactive lifestyle. So what I will call you individuals for the rest of this show is you lames is thinking that y'all prospering, that y'all home, and you take care of your kids because you pay a few bills. Let me get this straight. You don't get props for what you're supposed to be doing. It's your duty. You laid down with this woman. You made this child. She gave birth to this child. And now it is your job to take care of and be the supreme example, not pay bills. Child support payments don't make you he who fats her. It don't do that. But we don't hold y'all accountable. We don't get the switch out for y'all. So y'all allowed to do this. So y'all in the same boat as the individual who's incarcerated, marginalized, feminized, and not present at all. You in the same exact boat. 9 times out of 10, you just needed a place to stay. So your baby mama turned into your mother. You went from your mother house to your baby mama or your wife. And you stuck by that because you know you could get 3 hots in a cot if you just pay a couple bills and you get sex on demand. So this type of activity, when it marginalizes an entire community or disenfranchises an entire generation of the youth, what happens is young boys are on their own to raise themselves. So when they are raising themselves, they don't know what to do. There's no boundaries. There's no guidelines. There's nobody holding them accountable. There's nobody saying, no, that's the right way, that's the wrong way. What they do in this generation is they allow YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook to teach them. They do not understand that there's an order of operation or a rite of passage. So when we understand that there's a rites of passage, let me give you an example of what a rites of passage is for those who I'm losing. A rites of passage, for example, is in the African tradition, especially southern parts of Africa, when a child they started creating families at 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. Once that female was allowed to have her period, she was prepared all those years to be a woman. And for the male, once he was allowed to start ejaculating, he received some type of rites of passage where he had to go through certain type of conditioning or circumstance to survive in order to be accepted as a man. For instance, they will give him a knife, tell him go into the woods and do not come back unless you have a tiger or a lion or something vicious that you will kill up close and personal. Why would it be easy for him as a boy to run in the jungle and kill a beast, a wild beast? Because from the ages of 0 to 10 to 12, he watched the example. But when you remove the example, now you are not able to function, or the boy does not know how to demonstrate his masculinity. So what is a man in 2016? By Merriam-Webster's definition, it is simply an adult male. One possessing in a high degree the qualities considered distinctive of manhood. That is my definition of what a man is. Let me repeat it for you. My definition of a man is one possessing in high degree the qualities considered distinctive of manhood. So now we got to understand what manhood is. Quite simply, manhood is the qualities of no longer being a boy. So I'm afraid and sorry to tell some of y'all that you got these 50-year-old boys running around and it's okay. Y'all accept them. Y'all allow them to use physical abuse to control a woman. Y'all allow these 50-year-old boys to not be held accountable. You allow them to not be example. You feed them and clothe them and allow them to carry themselves in such a way that is not exemplary of manhood. And because he's an adult, which I say is, look at this grown-ass man. That is not a man. That's just an old boy. Because if he is not conducting themselves in a high degree of masculinity and demonstrating the qualities of what it is to be a leader and an example, he is null and void and is just a boy. He's a dependent. He is not an asset. This is somebody that will bring death into your life and not bring any form of prosperity, because he is a leech. He holds no type of strength. He has the inability to protect, defend. Oh, matter of fact, let me give you the lessons of what a man is supposed to do. These are the steps when you come into manhood. First, you're supposed to provide. As a young teenager, you understand that once you start making some money, your first duty is to take care of home, which is to take it to your mama. I'm getting a little passionate. Mike's starting to fall all over the place. You know that when you make some money off of whatever legal hustle you have, summer youth job, you wash some cars, rake some leaves, shovel some snow, whatever you did, you know you're supposed to go home and give it to your mother and let your mother have the option to say, no, baby, you buy yourself what you want. That takes the burden of me buying your things for you. So that's how you learn how to provide. Some of y'all is 30-something years old and your mama's still coming over to clean your rooms. Disgrace. The other thing, besides providing, that a man is supposed to do is he's supposed to protect. Calling 911 is not a form of protection. So recently in New York news, a brother Diallo, not Diallo that was killed decades ago. We talking about Diallo, the cab driver, whose wife called him and said, there's a man who's trying to break in the house and rape me. I fought him off. Please come home and help. He went home, pulled his car over, pulled his tire iron out, and ran into the building. Walked right past the rapist, who is a known convicted felon for sexual crimes. Diallo sees his wife, who is bloody, clothes ripped off. She says that's him right there that walked out the door. Diallo commenced to run outside and begin to beat upon the head of the sexual predator and killed him. So, in a form of protecting, and whoever has been too sensitive and don't like what I'm about to say is too bad, but we gonna give a round of applause to the brother Diallo and make him a true citizen and hero of today. Because it is your nature to protect your family, your wife, your queen, your significant other. And I'm going to get into the definition of what those are too later, especially if those who call in and remind me at 929-477-3213. Also on Periscope, you can leave me a note and I will respond. So when you understand that you are to provide, you are to protect at all costs, which means giving your own life. You are not going to be a sissy who walks in the park with your daughter and allow 3 males to rape your daughter and tell you to take a walk. Take a walk where? There is no option of walking, because she is me. This is my child. Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. What you do to me, you have to do to them. And that is the main problem with on manhood today. Y'all don't see yourself as part of the collective. Y'all don't see yourselves as a group. Y'all don't see yourselves as this is an extension of me. What does that mean? Okay, let's talk about black men. Black men, when you see a black woman, you don't look at her as my mother. And that's what we need to do. You don't look at the lady struggling with the bags as this is my mother. Because if you did, you would pull over, get out your car and help her with the bags. You don't look at the sister that's in help, pulled over at the side of the road. I'm not a mechanic, but I could pull over and maybe use my cell phone, gain some assistance, allow her to sit in the car for a little while. Yeah, bro, but you don't know. I don't want to hear excuses. I teach both of my sons, men don't make excuses. We produce results. Because if you're already making excuses, it's already prefabricated. Any situation that calls for you to be a man, you already got an excuse. So part of protecting your family is identifying who your family is. So your family is supposed to be an extension of yourself. If they look like you, they're an extension of you, whether you like it or not. So as a man, your duty is to provide, to protect, and then to prepare. You are to prepare your woman, your significant other, to be able to provide and protect when you are not around. So that your children always know that there's an example with the same value, same morals, same principle, same integrities, same laws, same customs, and same culture right in that household when you're not around. You don't have to say, I'm going to tell your father. Because when the woman automatically comes down and submit to her man, there ain't no back talking crazy, yelling back. There's none of that when you have submitted. Because when you don't see your man as the leader of the household, he's just another check. But I'll get to women next week. Right now, as a man, what I want you to understand, and let me write a note about this in big letters, because we need to do a whole show on this. Males, what you need to know is that 99.9% of your success in life is dealing with the mate that you select. Mate selection is imperative if you are trying to succeed to reach any goals that you are trying to reach. Because if you and your woman are in a boat paddling and your woman is not encouraging, cheerleading, submitting to you, and doing all in her power to make sure you have the comfort to win and make your dreams be fulfilled, then that is not a mate that is rowing that paddle with you. She rowing backwards, or she just sitting with her hand crossed thinking she a prima donna entitled or a spoiled brat that you supposed to keep rowing the boat by yourself. Loser. Because if you don't lose her in a matter of time, she will lose herself. So in preparing your children, it's important to have a mate that is going to be able to see your vision of how you provide, how you protect, and then y'all prepare. The other thing you're supposed to do after you have provided, protected, and prepared is explain to your children that they are an investment and that they are to prosper. You have given them the tools. After they watch you provide, protect, and prepare, they have the tools to allow y'all to prosper. We are raising you an apartment so you could grow up in a house. And then when you buy your house, we are preparing you to be able to own many houses so that your children and grandchildren have the recipe and the example to be able to buy mansions and institutions and commercial properties. That is the order of operation. So once you provide, protect, and prepare, you start to prosper. And why is it important to create prosperity? It is important to create prosperity because prosperity brings peace. Please educate all children every day, everywhere. Peace. Please educate our lost children every day, everywhere. That's the lessons from the nation of gods and earth. You provide, not what I'm about to say, but that part, the peace part. This is Zach Tate right here. You provide, you protect, you prepare so that you can prosper and create peace. Money is freedom. Money is to create options to give you peace and freedom. That is the purpose of having money. So your peace has to be defined by you in an exemplary fashion that demonstrates the high degrees and qualities considered distinctive of manhood. When I say your peace, I'm not talking about sitting in front of the TV with a 40 ounce watching reruns after rerun of Power and telling the kid, keep the noise down, and you running around talking about your father. Stop playing games. You're playing yourself. So, by definition, manhood is the qualities of no longer being a boy. So here's an example, right? A boy is an undeveloped man mentally. Man, in a short definition, is mentality. Because a man is not a man because he's an adult. A man becomes a man based on the struggles he has overcome and the lessons he has learned and the examples that he follows. This is the only way to reach the high degree and qualities of manhood. It is a journey. Your masculinity is a journey. It is not a finish line. It is not that once you become 21, it's not a destination that, oh, I'm 21, I'm a man now. Nah. That's what society has allowed because you a product. And the more you confused, left behind, or institutionalized, is the more other people could manipulate you to continue to be a consumer and a product. That's what goes on in Western civilization. You a product. And at some point you wake up and decide you don't want to be a product. You want to sell products and get some wealth and get some freedom and explore the whole world so that you can have a higher degree and understanding in life so that you can find your peace. That is the recipe of life right there. But in manhood, you have to understand that your masculinity is always under attack. And the reason that you sissies get all sensitive is because you didn't take the journey into manhood. There was no examples. This is why you're allowed to be a deadbeat dad. Don't show me. You know, let me clarify because I had to check somebody I know the same way. Homies, let me dumb down for a second. Because I'm the big homie. And as the big homie, I'm going to say this one more time. Because I said this to somebody in private. Let me say it publicly to all the homies. Don't try to impress me with the cars that you drive and the women you sleep with when you living in 5C. When you living on the 5th floor and you paying somebody else's rent to make them rich and you're not creating no equity in your own life, you're not creating no value in your own life, homie, do not try to come and impress me because it's not going to be allowed. I'm not impressed. What I'm impressed is how you build for the future, how you make sacrifices for your woman, how you take them tight-ass pockets and you loosen them because taking care of her is taking care of you if she's your significant other. So what is a man physically, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually in 2016? Physically, you have the physical capabilities to decide whether you're going to be living on a higher degree of health or you're going to continue to feed your children the high blood pressure, high diabetic, high cholesterol foods. Or you're going to show them through example how to exercise and how to eat to live. Emotionally, how you're responding. So something that my queen taught me many, many years ago, because I did not become a man until my daughter was born. So that was about 14, 15 years ago, because I had to take a journey. And what my queen taught me was that women fight with their mouth and men fight with their fists. What I learned is that a male is always unequal match for a woman's mouth. Your fist will tire before her mouth ever will. But some of y'all emotionally like to fight with your mouth so much. And then when y'all get murdered, y'all become saints at the funeral. Your mouth got you in trouble because you did not learn in your journey that there are consequences and certain things you're not supposed to do to a man and certain things you're not supposed to say to a man. Primarily, you know what? I'll be right back. Go get my gun. No, you ain't never getting a chance to leave to go get it. That's just an example. Or you call a man a snitch, or you call him a rat, or you disrespect him in the workplace by acting like you tough or you a bully and you imposing on his masculinity, and then he throws you down the elevator shaft or something, and society says, oh my God, how you so violent? Because in masculinity, in war, in a jungle, you do not do certain things to cause a man, because once you violate him, you are saying that I have the past to just dictate your future and destroy your family. Once I have power over you, I can do anything to you. Learn from slavery. So emotionally, we need to check ourselves. And we need to realize that we are not conducting ourselves like women because we are men. What is a man spiritually in 2016? You are taught that your spirit is attached to your religion. No. I am a Christian because I've had an experience with Jesus Christ, and I choose to name him as my Lord and Savior. But under no circumstances does that minimize my spirit as being recognized as a God. So spiritually, if you look at your spirit as being identified with your religion, then let's look at the prophet Jesus. Let's look at the prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Let's look at all the examples that have come before us. God, according to all scriptures, chose men. The disciples were men because the journey that these men had to come through to become disciples, all considered men, is one where the teachings that they learn, they get to influence the masses. As the queen or woman or sidekick to those men, they automatically understood that they weigh the power, because all the efforts and labor that the men did, they just brought it home to kneel in front of their woman, who is really the all-powerful in the household. So, spiritually, if the Messiah chose men, and read your scripture, because I'm tired of you fake Christians that don't know the word. Read your scriptures. God chose men simply so God can make you, so you could create smaller gods, because it is said you are in the image of him. But when you just getting your kid to be Xboxing all the goddamn time and TV'd out and talking foul and wearing his pants, that is not God-like. You are not creating a God. You are just making another old-ass boy. Because once you start looking at man as God and identifying them as being synonymous and understanding that God has created you as being one of the greatest creations, you will no longer conduct yourself like a devil, or no longer conduct yourself as an evil or less than, substandard, with all these hang-ups, man. You got all this pain built up and all these psychological issues, and you don't go get mental health because it's not macho? Are you serious? You have these issues in your nature where you know you need more than one woman. You put a ring on your finger. You're not keeping it real with your queen or your woman, or you just calling her a queen. Or even worse, man, you trying to get husband status without being a husband. Yo, man, let me tell y'all about marriage, right? It's against the law of nature. I'm an expert in marriage. It's against the law of nature. You are sacrificing every single day for somebody else's benefit. That is unnatural. But what is natural is when you have seen and chosen this person based on what she has endured, that she is worth the sacrifice. Because if she is not worth the sacrifice, and you calling her queen, and you women running around talking about this your husband and you ain't never went through no ceremonies, I ain't talking about the law. Forget the courts. That man take it upon himself to show you through a ceremony that you the queen. And y'all went around changing your names and your outlooks for these busters, and these dudes ain't serious. They ain't invested, or they haven't learned yet. And yes, you have to teach your man, but that's a whole nother periscope. So if you are trying to run around and conduct yourself as a spiritual man, then you understand and must accept that the Messiah chose men. God created you in his image so you could create smaller gods, so that you can run around and practice perfect fatherhood. So what is the sexual man now? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. What is the sexual man in 2016? You wearing these tight clothes. You borrowing your woman's fashion. You tying your hair with her scarf in public. I ain't talking about in private. And you want me, you look in the mirror, right? Let me say this about homosexuality. Homosexuality as a man is a perversion. It is against your nature. You decide that you want to sleep with someone that has the organs that you have because in your mind you have a lust and a yearning that you are following. But it is against the laws of nature. Am I making a judgment on homosexuals? No, I am. What I'm saying is this. Who you have sex with, as long as it's on their terms, is your business. But under no circumstances, if you look in the mirror, I see Sal, but you see Sally. And because you a male, you want me to accept you as a man. That is not going to happen. Do not ask me to embrace you who have gone. You have flipped on yourself. If you flip on your nature, what does it say about what you would do to me? Do not ask me based on your perversion. I got my perversions. I got my sexual promiscuities that I have to deal with as well. I am a sexual being. But when I allow my sexuality to define all my actions and my perversion to make it the easy way out, because I could feminize myself and feel I'm not going to be under attack anymore because I'm feminine. Or no, you can shoot them down, officer, because you don't have to shoot me because I'm not with all that. No, you took the option to be feminine. Conduct yourself in a weaker manner then. Get behind like you're supposed to. Allow the alpha male to step up and be male. But what we keep doing in 2016, we are allowing these feminine males to be at the forefront to dictate that if I'm going to watch Empire, which I'm trying to get casted on, if I'm going to watch Empire every week, I'm going to allow episode after episode after episode that I have to confront your sexuality. You mean to tell me you don't have no other creativity that you have to shove homosexuality down my throat? No, I just turn the channel. So under no circumstances, when it comes to providing, protecting, going to war, dealing with my family, I don't have the option to opt out and say, no, I'm feminine. I'm a man. All that comes with it, being a man comes with it. I will die on my feet before I live on my knees. That is part of being a man. I will die to protect my family. I will work 8 jobs like I do now to protect my family. This is what men do. So we have feminized it. We have marginalized it. We have allowed it to fail. And lastly, because I got 17 minutes left, is men and being lovers. And I see we're going to have to do another show on this. A lot of y'all don't know what to do, man. Take the time out to learn what a clitoris is. Take the time out to understand all aspects of the vagina. Pay attention to her spirit when she is talking to you. Take the time to shut up and listen to her mind. Kiss her for more than 30 seconds every single day. Hug her all night long. It does not matter if your arm falls asleep. If it brings her comfort and that comfort allows peace in your household, then your job is to bring her comfort. Discipline her when she is out of line. Because if you don't know, women don't respect men that's shorter than them and don't respect a man who allows them to run over. Although you don't put a foot in their ass, they need to know you will. Ask any woman. You're shorter than her, you better not be trying to be insecure and prostrate yourself. Understand that you are the man that she has selected, because no couple could be a couple unless that woman chose you. kiss her, love her, satisfy her. If you have what's between her ears, you will always have what's between her legs. Anybody want to call in 929-477-3213. Blog Talk Radio Live, Zach Tate Show. On Periscope, if you have any questions, send them. It's 15 minutes left in the show. We have talked about male masculinity. I could go weeks. I could do volumes of shows on this. I thank everybody for logging in. I thank everybody for tuning in. Before I continue, I'd like to thank my advertisers. If you are interested in advertising on us, it's $250 for 3 months. Contact Elisa Gabrielle at Elisa Gabrielle Entertainment on the GreatZachTateShow.com, gmail.com, or just leave us a message on Periscope or any form of social media at the official imprint at Elisa Gabrielle Entertainment, or right here on Blog Talk Radio. So, allow me to recap. 929-477-3213. And on Periscope, I thank y'all. Swipe left, swipe right, invite your friends. We talking about manhood. So what is manhood? Manhood is the qualities of no longer being a boy. What is a man? An adult male human who exemplifies a higher degree of qualities considered distinctive of manhood. What is a boy? One who is born with a penis. That is in essence what a male is. So y'all can fight over these gender issues, or I identify myself as, I don't care how twisted your mind is and what you have come up with your own thought and ideologies, or how you express yourself. Live free. Do that. Just don't impose it on me. That's all I ask. Because when y'all talk about these transgender bathrooms, it's the most foolish argument. And let me show something to you, America. Y'all allow these foolish arguments to get up all this time because the media controls you. If you identify yourself as a female and look like a female, and you've been using the woman's bathroom for the last 20 years, why we need to put a separate bathroom? Knock it off. If you was born a female and you enjoy women and you identify yourself as a lesbian and you look as masculine as possible and walk into the men's bathroom and use the stall, who cares? Ain't no bathroom police in America. Right now we got Michael on the line. Hey, Michael, thank you for calling.
Yeah, great show, man, great show. And, you know, I appreciate you doing what you do on a consecutive level, you know.
Thank you, bro. I'm going to be consistent.
Saying, you know, yeah, I was just saying what I just had to say, I don't know if I did it right, wrong or whatever, is just that I always believe in spoiling little girls, but then I reward little boys and stuff like that, because, you know, little girls, we want them to know their self-worth when they were little kids, let them know they princesses, and let them have jewelry and stuff, so they grow up, a little boy can tell them little things to get inside their business. But little boys, I feel if you spoil them and you set them up to fail later on in life, you still got to reward them, like take the trash out, I'm going to do this for you and stuff like that. But I'm just supporting the show. Just calling in, man. Just like what you're doing, man. Just keep doing what you do, man.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, man. So, anybody else want to call in? 929-477-3213. So, when we dealing with these issues of masculinity, we have to understand it is a journey that has to be taken. For you mothers who are raising boys and you seeing the changes that he's going through, my suggestion is that you do not go ahead and just pick these random mentors. Because let me explain something to y'all. Pedophiles are never a stranger. A pedophile is generally a relative, a family member, or someone who strategically places themselves in a position to have contact with children so that they can have sex with children. This is what pedophiles do. And I see mothers saying, I don't know how to raise this boy. I'm losing my mind. I'm out of control. I'm going to just pick a mentor. No, you don't know who these mentors is. What I ask you to do is look who exemplifies the higher qualities of masculinity and manhood and approach that person and have a discussion with that person about your plight in raising a boy. Because generally, if he is a man and he displays those higher qualities of self, he will automatically understand it is his duty to be able to say something or to reach out and to be able to help you fulfill your goals in raising a boy. So for you single mothers on raising sons, I'm going to have a whole separate show in the future. Give me a few weeks. But I'm going to touch on it next week because next week we are discussing women in the new era. So today, to give you another recap, a man is one who you see who is conducting himself in an exemplary manner of protecting, providing, preparing, prospering, and creating peace. I ask anyone who is listening to this, watching this, playing it back, do me a favor. Do me a personal favor. Do yourself a favor. Sometimes you see a man going all out and just tell him, man, thank you for being a man. Tell him I'm proud of you. Tell him that you're doing a good job. When I see black males walking in the hood with strollers and their children, or I see them frustrated at the mall, what I say to them is, yo, it ain't easy, but it's worth it, homie. You're doing a great job. I say that every single time I see a young black male with a child. And they always, hey, thank you, brother. Because when you identify somebody as yourself, you don't have a problem showing them love. And that's what men do. So I ask all black men, all white men, all Asian men, I ask y'all all to go ahead and start checking each other. Help each other to understand that you are heroes, that you are gods, that you are here on this earth to make a difference and not allow things to be the same. That as a man, they can tell everybody that you are an example, that you can be relied on, depended on, trusted. I'm not saying be perfect, because that would make me a hypocrite. I am far from perfect. I am one of the most flawed individuals alive. But because of my flaws, I can get on this broadcast to help teach you so you could come back and teach me, because that's what men do. Each one, teach one. It is a journey through masculinity. It is a journey to become a man. And it is a journey that is never ending. I hope and pray that in your 40s, you are not conducting yourself the same way you did in your 30s. I hope and pray that in your 20s, you are looking back and saying, on a daily basis, I hope you are looking back and reflecting and saying, how could I have done that different or better? If not, I just ask you to do this one thing for me. Until I get Steve Harvey status so I can reach millions every day. For those who are listening and watching, do this for me. All men who are paying attention. Stop allowing women to define what you are, number one. And number two, I ask you to either lead, I ask you to follow, or I ask you to get out the goddamn way. Because if you ain't leading and you ain't following, you just in the way of progress. And as a man, what we trying to do is provide, protect, prepare, prosper, and cause peace. We are trying to make sure that we are examples in all our actions and our walks and our activities for people to see how to make this world a better place. I thank y'all for tuning in. Next week's show is going to be about women. Women and what women need to know. There are so many women who are lost when it comes to finding love. There are so many women who has given up on themselves, their careers, their dreams, and their need to be loved, nurtured. I'm not talking about just sex. I'm talking about love. There are so many women who are conducting themselves in society in such a way where you are sending twerking videos to a prospective suitor while your baby is in the background. Foul. There are so many women who do not understand that Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian, Black China, Amber Rose, it is not the example. They are the exception. There are so many women who are neglecting their children. There are so many women who do not understand the value of their own mother and their community. And some of y'all just don't know what to do with men. Y'all have these questions. Y'all need to know these things. Tune in next week. Call in next week. Let's get some controversy next week. If what I'm saying offends you, call in and check me. If you think I'm out of line, call 929-477-3213. Let's get it on. That's the only way that we generally learn, through conflict. I said that earlier. If more males that walked around with black eyes, and more males that walk around with their pants off had some black eyes, while they was nurturing that black eye in the mirror, they would do a lot more reflection. I said that earlier. So if there's anything that I'm saying that's offensive to anyone, call in. Let me know. For our advertisers over at Dimple Salon, 233rd in the Bronx, you can check them on Style Seat, The Cut Life. You can call in if you need information about Dimple Salon. You can ask us about that as well. She, the owners or advertisers, as a co-owner, I'm advertising. I had to pay that money too. Over at my good people who are selling those meats over in Yonkers, they have paid their advertising fees as well. If you want to advertise, the Great Zach Tate Show on gmail.com, or contact Elisa Gabrielle. So, next week's show is about womanhood. If you have any suggestions, hit me on Facebook, Instagram, let me know. This show this week, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and commend your men. Let your men know that they are valuable. Let them know that they are the examples. Let them know that they are doing a good job. For men who are listening, I hope that I have encouraged you to be the hero. I hope that I've stirred some emotions so that you can look and say to yourself, you know what? I'm slacking in this area. I hope that you identify what a man is. I hope you identify that it is just not a title. It is an obligation. I hope you understand that you have a duty to fulfill. I hope that you understand that over and over, everywhere that you go, that the burden that rests on your shoulders is not to break you down, but to build you up. Because you are he who fats her. If you are the father and the head of the household,
90
you need
seconds.
to be all of that. So I thank everybody for tuning in. Next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m., same exact time, same exact channel, Blog Talk Radio live on Periscope. You can tell everybody everywhere. Go ahead. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am.
60 seconds.
Thank y'all for tuning in.